Okay, so let's look at this challenging question. So the question is saying that an object of mass m1 is equal to 20 kg traveling at an angle of 150 degrees with respect to the positive of x-axis. So this is an angle 150 with respect. So I mean that starting from the positive of x-axis till you reach where these 150 degrees. I'm going to demonstrate that. And then they're saying that this object now, it is with an initial velocity of 25 meters. So the velocity is this one, the mass is this one, the angle is this one. Let's go. Now they're saying that it collided. So they're saying that collides with an object of mass 30 kg traveling at the velocity of this one, and the angle is this one. So they've given you three quantities for each object, right? This object, they have given you mass, an angle, and velocity. These velocities are the initial velocities, not the final velocities. And the initial velocities, as we can see, they are moving at an angle, right? Now, what did I say? Whenever you see equation involving angles, think in terms of components, okay? Think in terms of components. It means that is having, we can resolve that. Look, it's more like they're telling you that each object, it had the velocity. That velocity was moving at an angle. So that angle can have, that velocity can have components, right? Yes, you can decompose it into its components. So let's see the questions. So they're saying that find x and y components of m1 and m2. I've just meshed them. Yeah, m1 and m2. So they want you to find the components. And then they're saying that find the x and y components of the final velocities of m1 and m2. So these are the kind of questions whereby you need to be approaching it in component form, whereby you find momentum in x and y components. That's what we're going to do. So let me just try to maybe analyze, and we start. Okay. So they want us to find the x and y components, right? So what you're going to do is this. So we have the first object, right? Mass 1, 20 kg, right? And velocity. This one is representing the first object. So this velocity is initial. Anyways, let me just write it the way it is. It is 25. And the angle is 150 degrees. So here what you can do is that, I'll explain when we start finding the components, I think. Then the other object is having the m2 is representing the second object. The mass is 30. Velocity is simply 20, right? And angle is 20 degrees. So now this one here, 150 degrees. They have said from the positive of x, right? So meaning from here, 150 is going to be in this quadrant, right? So it is same as in the second quadrant. So which quadrant? Okay, just take note of this one. I'm going to get back to it. Okay, I'm going to get back to it. So let's find the components. So let's begin with the components, the x and y components of the first, this one, mass 1. So the components, what you just do is that, you know that velocity is this one, the angle is this one. So to find the x component for this one, this is like the resultant one. So I'm going to say this one, velocity 1, and these are the initial ones, okay? So this is the x one. The x component, you need to specify. I've put the I to just show that this is the component of the initial velocity, because we'll be finding the component in the x for final velocity. So now how do you find the component in the x-axis, you just say velocity, which is this one, right, times an angle, times, okay, let me just write it. So we say 25, since it's in the x, we say cos, right? And then here on the angle, you have two options. It's either you write 150 and then punch, okay, you're going to get negative 21. The other option you have is that you can put 30 here, but if you put 30 here, you have to put a negative here. Why? Because this is the second quadrant, right? This is cos. Cos in the second quadrant is negative. So you have two options here. It's up to you. You're still going to get negative 21.7. In case maybe you're stressing here, like, now what? Okay, and the y is going to be 25 sine 150. This one is going to be positive, right? So it's going to be 12.5. If you want, you can do this. And then we now go to the second object, which is this one here. So let me even put M1 to just show that we are finding the components for the mass one. Now we go M2. So I'll say this 2 is just representing like the second object, this number that you're seeing here. So the component of the velocity in the x, which is the initial velocity. Right now we are talking about the initial velocity. The final velocity components are what we are going to be finding. We'll be finding the components instead of finding the main velocities. That's the only trick about this question. Instead of telling you to find the final velocity for each, they want you to find the components of the final velocities. You get the point. Anyways, maybe you're going to get it by the end of this video, and make sure that you're following. So I'm going to, now the second object, it's having the velocity of 20. So I'll put 20 cos 20, right? It's going to be 18.79. So say 20 sine. We now find in the y, we use sine. So it's going to give us 6.8. So take note of these components. We are going to be using them a lot. Now, to find the second question, where they're saying that find the x and y components of the final velocities of m1 and m2. How do you go about this one? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say, okay, let me just, momentum in the x, or the x-axis. Basically, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to find momentum. Like, remember, they have said that perfect elastic collision occurred, meaning that momentum was conserved. So, meaning that we are going to use this formula. So, we are going to begin with the x-axis. Momentum in the x was conserved. So, here we are only focusing on anything that is having x. I'm trying to find already I have the components for each mass in the x, but these are initial ones. They want me to find the final ones. So I'm going to focus only on the x components for this part. So here I'm going to start with the x components. Then when I'm done, I'll go to the y components. So here's the thing. So remember the formula for momentum, that V1, let me just do this. So V1, since we are dealing with the x, I'm going to put x here, and I times mass plus V2 xi times mass. Let me just put mass 1, mass 2, and we say V1 in the x, but the final one, which is what we are looking for, times the mass 1 plus V2 in the x, but the final one, times m2. This is the formula we are going to use. So what you do is this. You are going to simplify till you find this one here. This is representing the final velocity for mass 1 in the x-axis. Have you seen? Final velocity for mass 1 in the x-axis. Final velocity, this is F, for mass 2 in the x-axis. When we are done, we are also going to go where? We are also going to go in the y-axis. We do the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is that here I'm going to substitute. What is this one? It's what I have here, right? So I'm going to say my initial velocity. Right now our focus is only on the x components, this and this. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to say negative 21.7 times mass 1. Mass 1, we've said that it is 20, right? Plus velocity 2 in the, this is just representing this one here, so it is 18.79 times mass 2. Mass 2 is 30, right? It's equal to, so now how about here? So mass 1 is what? Is 20, right? So I'm just going to put 20 times V1 XF, which is what I'm looking for, plus I'm just going to put 30 V2 XF. I hope you have understood what I'm trying to imply. This V1, 1 is representing the first object, X in the X-axis, F is just saying that it's the final velocity. I don't mean to complicate things here. If you want, you can use whatever you want, but follow the same procedures, okay? If you want, don't include the 1, the X and the F. If you want, as long as it will help you to not get confused. Okay, so now you're going to say negative 21.7 times 20. It's going to give you negative 434, negative 434. Hope it's clear. Negative here, and then plus 18.79 okay, times 30. It's going to give us 350. Wait, let me just, I've lost the figures. So you're saying that 18.79 times 30. So we're getting 563. 563.7 is equal to 20 V1 XF plus 30 V2 XF. Let me just rewrite this one again. Okay, so we're having negative 434 plus 563.7 is equal to 20 V1 XF plus 30 V2 XF. Okay, let's just now try to simplify the other side. So we have negative 434 plus 563.7. We are getting 129.7 is equal to 20 V1 XF. So the same way you just solve momentum questions, okay? It's just that this time we are only focused in the X. This is how you approach it, okay? There's nothing difficult here. So after you're done with the X part, you're now going to go in the Y and tackle those two that we didn't tick. If you remember those two velocities, yeah, those are the ones that we're going to focus on. Now, if you remember, there is this formula that I showed you. If you watch my video lessons, there is this formula which is whenever you're in this case whereby you are stuck. Okay, whenever you're in this case whereby you are stuck, here we are stuck. We are trying to find this one and this one. Okay, but there's no other equation we can like make the subject of formula substitute. We are stuck. Okay, if I told you to finish this one, find this one, or find V2 or V1, you won't go anywhere, right? So we introduced this equation, which is V1xi. This is I minus V2xi is equal to negative V1 x final. This final here. I hope this one, take note of it. This one, if you don't know this one, then you'll be getting stuck a lot of times. So this one, so put the initial velocity for the first object. It was negative 21.7, right? Minus the initial velocity for the second object in the x, it was 18.79, right? Is equal to negative, so let's just say negative V1xf minus V2xf, right? Yeah, so let's try to simplify this part. So it's more like we are trying to say 21.7 plus 18.779 40 point, so it's going to be negative 40.49 negative. If you haven't understood momentum, go and watch my video lessons. I've already taught the whole topic from scratch. So this one, I'm just solving this question. Okay. So now, at this point, make any the subject. No, look, this is a negative here. Multiply with this one will be negative. It will be positive. So A should be positive. This simple mistake would have put us into trouble. So make this one the subject. So you're going to have negative 40.49 plus F. I've just taken this one the other side. So now we're going to have V2xf, right? Yeah. So now what you're going to use this. So look, this one, do you remember where we ended at, like where we got stuck? Do you remember this equation here? This one here. We're going to go back now to it. That now we have found something to substitute into u. So this one, I'm going to substitute it here. Okay. So I'm now going to have this one. You can simply round it off to a whole number, right? It's just going to be 130. If you want, you can leave it like this. The final answers won't be different. If you want, you can leave it. As you can see, they are close to each other. So even your answer will be the same. Actually, when they are marking, they always give a range. Like let's say if the answer according to the marking key is like 40, even if you answer 38, they will still mark you. If you answer 41, 42, there is always a range because the answers do not always come out the same. Yes, because there is always the accuracy and precision is not always there. So let's go 20 V1 X F and say, so we are substituting it here, right? So we say plus 30 negative 40.49 plus, I've just substituted this one, where is this, and XF, right? Yeah. So now let's go. We have 130 is equal to V1 XF plus, now let's multiply. So what is 30? 30 times 40.49. 30 times 40.49 negative. So we're getting a negative. Okay, I'll just say negative. So 1214.7. Okay, so we have 0.7. Then this times this is going to give us, it's just going to be 30 V1 XF. Makes sense? Okay, so let's go. So now we have 130 is equal to 20 V1 XF minus 214.7 this point. I hope I don't make a mistake. Okay, so these are like terms. This one, can you see that? So we can add them, right? This one I'll take it here, so I'm going to have 130 plus 1214.7. the sign has changed, and here I'm going to remain with this plus this. These are like terms. In case you don't look, they're having the same things here, so you're going to add them. It's going to be 50 V1 XF. Sum up these now. So what are you going to get when you say 130 plus 214.9, 0.7, then divide by 50. Okay, let me just write it. I want to punch everything at once and just write the final answer. Now some of you get confused. Where did you get that one from? So how did you come up with this? Should I show you everything? So divide by 50, and we are getting 26.7. 26.8 over 50 over 50. If you have the marking key, you can go and compare. The thing is that the way they have solved it in the marking key, you can't understand. Yeah, shortcuts. They use shortcuts. They didn't show all these things. No explanations. Actually, let me not lie to you. This is a toughest question they have ever brought on momentum in the history of CBU. This one. So if you are able to hammer this one, then no question can hammer you. You can hammer anything. So we have just found the final velocity for the first object in the x-axis. Now let's go. No, we're not done it. So we have only found for the first one, right? First object in the x. How about the second object in the x? I already have this one, this equation that we made here. So I'm just going to substitute. Here I'm going to put, so I'm going to write this equation, and here I'm going to put what I've just found here. You get it, right? Yes. So that's what you're going to do. So let's do it right now. So by just doing that, you're not done yet again. We are going to do this again. Let me find the one for the second object. Let's go. So I'm now going to say for the second object now. So we say 40.49 plus putting 26.8. Okay, so now I want you to punch that on your calculator. I'm also punching it right now. I hope you guys are following. Let's hope if you are just sitting there watching, you won't get anything. These are not the kind of maybe at first you can first watch it, then try to solve. Then when you get stuck, you come back again. Anyways, just do whatever you want. Yeah, but highly recommend while you are watching, you are solving alone. 40. This question is a question. Try to give this one to that tutor you go to. You see, but it's not very hard. Okay, the question is very simple. It's just very lengthy. Yeah, my bad. So have you seen? Yeah. So it is giving us, the wind is disturbing me. So we have negative 13 point. So we have negative 13.69. So look, we have just found the component in the x for the first and second object. I mean the velocity component. Find the velocity component in the x-axis for the first and second object. Now we have only found in the x. So now we go back where the equation started from. So the same thing that I've just done, we are now going to do it in the y-axis. Even in the y. So this one has got 4 answers. The final answers are 4 answers. If you don't give 4 answers, you won't get the full marks. So like right now, we have only gotten like the half mark. Yes, we have only done half of the work. And as I can see right now, it is having 25 minutes. So meaning that we have to do it again. So by the time I'll be finishing, it will probably be 1 hour now. But I'll try to be fast. Since you've gotten the concept, right? Maybe I should stop here and give you guys an homework. So do you remember where we started from? We started from here, right? We found in the x. So we are going to do the same thing. Now we are going to do it in the y. We are going to do it in the y. But this time, we are going to be using these. These are the velocities that we are going to be using in the y. That time, we are using these. That's why I was saying that in the y, focus on the velocities that are the x component velocity. That is in the x-axis. Then in the y, focus on the velocities that are the y component velocity, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So now we are going to do the same thing now. So quickly now, quickly, try to follow along. Okay, so see, in the y-axis, so we are going to do the same thing, but this time, look, I'm just going to say v1, but I'll use y because we are in the y-axis, and times m. I know that's a very terrible m. Yeah, whatever. As long as you are understanding what I'm teaching you. So, okay. I'm just trying to modify the formula. Here I'm just saying that velocity for the first object in the y-axis, which is the initial velocity, is equal to v1 xf m1 plus v2 in the xf m2. Here we are. So now we are going to do the same thing. Here we are going to put what? The initial velocity that we found for the y component for initial velocity for the first object, which is 12.5, right? What's the mass? The mass is 20, right? And we go to the second object. It is 6.8 times the mass is 30, right? And here it is going to be 20. So the mass is 20, right? So we are going to say 20 v1. My bad. Did I just write x again? Should be y. Sorry. Yeah, should be y. Okay. Final. Here I'm putting 30, but it's going to be 2 yf. So quickly. So we are going to multiply 12.2 times 20. So we are getting 250, right? And 6.8 times 30 is going to be 204. Strange. Okay. Okay. So now try to add those up. 250 plus 204. It's going to be 454. 454. Hope we are not making any mistakes. If I get this wrong, then we have all gotten it wrong. But you are following, right? So the same thing that we did. Then we are going to introduce that formula. So it's going to be V in the Y minus V2 in the Y initial is equal to negative. I'm sure you know where this is coming from, right? This formula. This formula will help us to bypass this stage. And then here, I'm going to put Vy Yf minus V, wait, I have just swapped them. This is V2, right? Okay, so now let's substitute. What's the initial velocity in the Y for the first one? It's 12, right? Minus V2. What is the, what did I write? Okay, that was 6.8. And here we're just going to say plus. Okay, so subtract now. What is 12.5 minus 6.8? 12.5 minus 6.8. It's going to be 5.7. So we have 5.7 is equal to negative Vyf plus V2Yf. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to take this on the other side. It's going to be 5.7 plus V. Then I'm going to substitute this one here. I'm sure you know how to go about this one. So even if I get the wrong answer, at least get the procedure, okay? Because I'm also a human being. I can make mistakes, you know. Mistakes are normal. So I'm going to substitute this one here. So we are going to have plus 30. Then we substitute 454 to 2V. This time this is going to be, it's going to be 30. Wait, 30 times 5.7. 30 times 5.7. It's going to be 171. So there will be 171 plus 30 V11F. So these two we can sum them up, right? And this one is going to go here. So you're going to have 50 VYF, something like this. Then 454 minus 171, 283. So now divide through by 50. And we're getting yeah, it's correct. We are getting what? I'm getting 5.66. If you want, you can say 5.7. So I've just found the final velocity in the y-axis for the first object. Now I need to calculate the what? The final velocity for the second object in the y-axis. So we need to find 4 answers. So far we found 2. This one is the third one. The third one, right? Yes. So now let's find the last one. And I'll use this equation here. This one. I'm already having this as my subjective formula. So I just need to substitute. So it's more like I'm going to just say 5.7 plus, this one is what I found here, right? Plus 5.7. So let's try to, it's going to give us this one here. So that's going to give us V2, whatever, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, right? So 5.7 plus 5.7, it is 11 point what? So I'll just say V2 YF is giving us 11.4 meters per second. Yeah. So this is what we are getting. And I hope that you've understood, and see you in the next lessons. And make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed, and subscribe to our platform where you're going to access the full lessons in math, physics, chemistry, and biology. All NS work has been recorded, including the solved materials and stuffs. To get exposed to these kind of questions, subscribe to A+ Academy's platform where you'll be accessing all the video lessons. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and have a very nice day. And I hope you have understood. If you haven't understood, just don't even come to my DM. Just replay this video, replay it over and over again, because what I've just explained right now, I can't explain this in my inbox. Like, you come and ask me, so I explain the question, explain everything you solved. Some of you are very funny. You want me to explain what I solved in a 37 minutes video. You want me to explain it in a VN. Imagine a VN that is 37 minutes long. So just try to rewind, okay? Try to rewind, and I hope that you've enjoyed. See you in the next lesson.